This is, I just covered these two scenes on Book of Eli. And these two scenes, they're kind of, I put them out of order. One was protecting this woman from getting raped by these two guys and how he approached that at the end, not needing anything from her. Then the second scene is, which was the first one I showed, was when Eli gets shot in the gut, even though he gave the guy what the guy wanted. And how you approach that betrayal is everything. When you get betrayed, it's everything. I titled this video on YouTube, Robbing Females. Why? Because if a man commits to you, you got to understand the ulterior, is it ulterior? Hold up. Let me look up the definition of this word. Wait, am I still streaming on YouTube? Oh, I think did it stop streaming? No? Okay. Let me get back to my YouTube channel because I seem to have closed out the window. You have to understand that men and women are different and that men and women have different strategies for getting what they want in a relationship. Now, why they have different strategies is because they have different wants and needs. Okay, now I'm getting back onto there it is. Okay, so now I'm back on the YouTube. So women have learned over eons and generations to give green lights to guys. And they don't even know how many green lights they're giving until someone like me that's aware of many of the signals of green lights. I mean, there's always more to be aware of. And it's all contextual. But that's the thing. It's so contextual that it's easily obscured. But there is truth. Like someone says to me, one of the haters said to me, you're not open to other perspectives or whatever. And it's like, I didn't invite your perspectives. I wasn't asking for your perspective. And I didn't say this because I'm not going to explain it to her. But the fact is that there is a better choice. The fact that there's a choice, meaning two or more options, means that there's a better choice. And it's contextual, but contextually, there's a better choice always until it's the best choice. And so you're always refining. So this, I am reviewing No Fucks book, my No Fucks book, chapter 8. You can find it on the website. I also have some realizations from conversations today that I want to pass on. And one of these is that a man gets a woman. He's going for a woman because he wants something. He wants some. And he has learned that she is more likely to give it up if he's committed. And she wants him. She has to want him, be interested, attracted, all those things. But given two guys that do that, she wants the one that is in some way more committed. And how she reads that is going to be in how much he's moved by her, how his displays and demonstrations of commitment, and obviously the things he says and whatever. And women have been brainwashed to misread, basically hear what the man is saying, but not reading his action. But so he has learned to become a liar. He's learned to say that he is more committed than he is so that you'll give it up to him. And a man that breaks up with a woman that's done that basically goes back and says, we should just be friends. Unless she does something unethical. If she does something unethical, then you tell her, that for that reason, it shouldn't be. For that reason, we can't be together. But if it's, I simply overcommitted, or I'm not ready for this, or I'm not mature, blah, 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 blah. Anything that he said, when's the last time I said that? Was never. But I hear stories of guys that do that. And so you need to know, if you're a guy, cut that shit out. And if you're a girl, you need to be aware of this because maybe dad never told you that the boy is trying to get with you. And his strategy to do that is varied. It's varied, very varied. So, but rest assured that whatever guy knows you, he's trying to get with you. And it's not that I'm saying those guys bad, me good. This is a confession. That guy, now, my strategy, for example, is give value, give value, give value. Talk to a lot of people. Never totally give it up to one woman because sex is not what it's about in a relationship. It's about emotional and psychological commitment and a future, creating something that betters you, growth, and especially the safety so that creation can happen, because you need safety for creation to happen. So that's, it's the commitment, the taking care of you. If I take care of you, then you really matter to me. Everybody else, I'm not chasing nobody. I know that's a double negative. I'm not chasing anybody. But I'm a man that's a man. So you as a woman need to know that men have learned to lie about their commitment in order to get some. Then you might rope them into a relationship. They might have a strong early game where they can pretend to be committed, but if they ever back out in a way that's I overcommitted or something like that, they lied and got that poo nanny from you and then leave you with less because they took your time, and you peak 16 to 18 or wherever that is. If they took some of your time, they're taking your life, they're taking your value, they took from you by promising something that they went back on, and you got robbed. Now, I like to let the girls break up with me by just raising my standards. I just raise my standards. I'm looking for that woman that wants to raise her standards with me, because the women in my life on any level, if you're a student, I got students, they're married, got boyfriends. I'm not trying to get with women that have boyfriends or are married. The strategy on the base code level is a man is programmed to mate with every woman that he can. But I'm not trying to get with you. And you should know the difference. You should know the difference in my communication with you. And that's where the boundary has to be, where I need to be honest with myself of if there is anything there. But that's in a money exchange. And it's like I say to guys, all the women in your phone you would either get with, or they would get with you, or it's a business exchange. Or there's somehow connections to that woman is connecting you to women you want to get with, or connecting you to business you want to get with. So it is a business or relationship connection. And there are no other women in your phone. It's very simple. And it's easy to get a man's agreement when he feels safe to give his actual opinion. But that's the thing. Why are men so afraid to give their truth about this? Because he doesn't think it's going to get him the relationship he wants. He thinks it's going to actually turn women away. And I'm here to say that after posting so many times on Facebook and Instagram, a polarizing gender role viewpoint, that for every woman that comments or likes in a good way, comments in a good way, there is one or two women hidden behind the scenes that also like, that you don't know because they're sending me messages. And for every hater that is commenting their hate, usually female haters, that when you do a gender role thing, I don't know, have any like weird feminist guys. That's such a weird thing to me. A feminist guy is like seeing a woman in the MMA. It's so weird to me. So the female haters, maybe they just don't realize that for every one of them, there's at least two that are for me, or at least one, for sure, at least one. I don't know how many females, because there are probably some females that just like unfriend or unfollow or whatever, but it's at least matched, that they are not the only opinions, and that I'm not inviting your negativity. I'm stating my facts. I don't go on your social media and tell you that you're wrong. What made you think that you're supposed to be the police of me? That's why you're suffering in your relationships. You should see these replies to these women. It's absurd. It's absurd. These married women or women in relationships or coaches, relationship coach. What is a female relationship coach? How many relationships have you been in because you failed after two failed? The first one, I'll give you that, because your father or older brother probably failed you, and so you chose the wrong person. But after two, you got the second one wrong. Didn't you realize that the first man stole something from you? I'm telling you now. So after two, you're not qualified at relationships. And then if you're saying you've had 10 or 12, or that you've coached other, like, show me your man. And if I admire your man and I admire how you treat your man, then maybe, but you wouldn't do that because it's not anything to admire. So, okay. So that's, I'm talking about female haters. I talked about robbing her and the business, friendship, and romance of it. You know, there is an exchange for sure. What you don't want is your woman working for another man, because she is submissive to that other man, meaning she will be polite with him and not object too strongly with him and hold herself back for him because he holds the survival called the paycheck. And then she'll come home and backtalk you. She won't backtalk her boss or her employer, but she'll backtalk you. That's the plight of a man in a relationship with a woman that works for another man. So maybe that's how it is in the beginning. Sorry, I got like a thing here. I want to wipe it off. That's how it might be in the beginning when you get with your girl, but you should definitely be having a strategy and moving forward with a strategy that pulls her from whatever she's doing, working for other men. Maybe she can still be an entrepreneur. She can be hustling under you. Like I said yesterday, if I was If my girl was a massage therapist, I could easily just give her so many female clients. You know, if she was a fitness, I mean, it would be whatever she's going to do. What is she going to do? Even if she's going to be like a spiritual teacher or whatever the fuck I am, a communication teacher, mindset and yoga, she can have all of my female clients. And actually, you would get a lot more, because there's a lot of females that wouldn't want to train with me because it's more expensive. And because they know on some core level that learning from a man, you're being influenced by a masculine influence there. Okay. So everybody you meet has their own agenda, and you need to make sure that you have yours too. Everyone you meet. This is from No Fucks book. And you got to know that she is giving green lights because that's how she's gotten her survival from the world, by giving green lights to guys. That doesn't mean she slept with all those guys. It doesn't mean she did anything with all those guys, but she was giving green lights. And those were the guys that got closest to her. And some of them succeeded in the genetic mating process. That's where we get leading men on. She leads men on because, in the same way how men lead on women to think that they're committing more. So women have learned to underestimate a man's commitment, and men overestimate her sexual investment. So men will lay it on thicker, and they'll be pushy for that sex because they think that that's what you're green lighting. You need to learn the right strategies and the right behaviors around the strategies that you want. Like I was telling someone today, Melania Trump is the Queen of America, Queen of the United States. And my friend was telling me about Grant Cardone's wife. Had a similar mindset where she said publicly, I stand behind my man. I was lost until I found his purpose, blah, 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 blah. Something like that. That's what Melania Trump says. These are the queens of empires. But, you know, whatever you want to say about Grant Cardone, because I think he's kind of cheesy, went from $0 to $500 million doing what he does, you know. And whatever you think of, whatever I think about their relationships, what do I know about the experience of being a half a billionaire or a billionaire? You know, I don't know what it's like to be Donald Trump. Like, not even close. I can barely imagine it. But those are two men that are kings of an empire, and their women have a behavior code of, I was lost, or my purpose is his. It's him. That's the behavior code of a queen. And you're like, well, those women are weak. Like, okay, yeah, they're fucking weak. So fucking weak. The first lady of the United States and the woman with a half a billion dollar mansion, like, so weak. Wow. I wish they had some self-esteem. Like, if they could just get, you know, learn to love themselves, they wouldn't have to be submissive. Like, no. You're just saying that because you don't have a quality man to submit to. But you're missing it. You're missing the dynamic. And a lot of women, guys, you got to know, a lot of women don't even have a reference for it. It's not within their experience. They haven't pushed their mind or their experience to that level. And when they did, the guys were less mature. It was less mature. Women have learned to pursue beautiful men over men that take care of them. And men, I mean, come on, you've learned to lie about how much you're able to take care of them. And then you don't follow through. So it's you know, people are perpetuating wounds. So we're just here to raise awareness. So because we're almost blind, we're basically blind to the universe. Like, most of what's happening, we don't see, hear, taste, touch, whatever, smell. We're not experiencing most of the frequencies. And we definitely don't see thoughts very well. We don't see energies very well. Some people think they do, and some people do. But most of us are mostly blind to the universe. The laws of attraction between men and women, and the laws of nature. Go back to my philosophy of love lecture in the silent flute. The laws of nature, like the powers, the forces of gravity, we don't see. We see the effect. We don't see the force of electromagnetism. We see the effect. We don't see light. We see when it hits something. We don't see the laws of love between men and women. We see what is happening between men and women. Okay, and so this is a Rosh Dibazar game. And like our lineage, because Mystery taught Arash, and Mystery gave us the physics of game, the basic mechanics of, okay, you need to open in a non-needy way, give a time constraint, over the shoulder with a smile. Be indirect, don't hit on her. Hook it, meaning she wants you to stay around, and usually do that by demonstrating a higher value, higher value than her, because she needs to look up to you. So right from the beginning, you DHV and you neg, which disqualifies you from hitting on her. Again, something like, I got to get going, or, my girlfriend, or, is there an off button on this one? A neg. DHV, neg, DHV, neg, DHV, neg. This is the mechanics of game. She indicates interest over time. If she doesn't indicate interest, there's lots of things to do. There's lots of ways it can go, but in a linear fashion, she indicates 3 interests. Now you can start qualifying her, tell her what are the things that you didn't know about her, that you're getting to know about her, that you like, and they should be qualities that make her feel good. And demonstrate 3 of those. You get comfortable, you build trust, you bounce locations, many different locations. Now we're into hours of interacting. Eventually romance is built up as you keep DHVing, not hitting on her, and becoming more comfortable in building trust. Then it goes into seduction, and then we go through, kissing, foreplay, all the things. Last minute resistance, which is a biological response to the first time a woman has sex with a man. She will throw up last minute resistance. How that's handled, and then sex multiple times becomes a relationship, and then that's the basic physics of mystery method. Rashdi Bazaar gives us the quantum physics. The quantum physics is in the imagination. How do you see yourself behaving? How do you see yourself responding? What qualities do you want to bring out of her? You use your imagination and communication to do this. And what happens, what the haters will say, is that you should just be yourself. Don't learn all this. The female dating coach from whatever that was hitting on my Facebook post, I called her a hoe. I was like, what is a female dating coach? You're a hoe. You've interacted with so many men on an intimate sexual level, and you've exchanged for that. You've exchanged even money for teaching them. And you transitioned into that from massage therapy. How many of your clients did you get with? They paid you. I don't know that somebody paid her for anything, but I mean, come on, who are you? I know what you're doing. A female relationship coach? You're going to teach females how to be with a lot of guys throughout their life? What are you going to teach them? Like, unless you're with one man, but the thing is that every man is going to have different standards for his relationship. So female doesn't make sense. If she was going to teach other women, she could only teach other women how to be with her man. Maybe could be some other basics like makeup or elegance or, dance, any fitness, like things that any intellectual, like whatever, you can improve her. But preparing her for a relationship, like the man prepares her to be with him, because she's a reflection of her past men. And if there's been no men in her past, that very rare. I mean, when's the last time any of us met a virgin? Like 10 years? I don't know. Besides young children, but I mean, come on. She's a reflection of her family, her father, her brothers, the other men she's been with especially. She's a reflection of her environment when you meet her. You want her, if she was going to be with you, she needs to be a reflection of you, of your values. She's your moon. Your values and your ethics. Every woman I've ever been with got more and more and more and more beautiful the longer she was with me. And as soon as they separated from me, just dropped. Stopped wearing makeup, stopped wearing nail polish, stopped thinking good about themselves. Maybe they continued wearing those things, but they lost practice. They didn't have that motivation like they did in the morning to see me. Right? Fitness goes down, their heart, the callous attitude comes up. So they're harder to communicate with. They're literally hard. But I don't rob them, because I never dropped my commitment to them until they dropped their ethics, which almost always involves other guys. They're opening communication with other guys, which is the beginning. Every relationship, because a relationship with a woman is consensual. So she's going to give it up, and that's going to happen through the whole mystery method, which the basic undercurrent of the whole mystery method is good communication. It needs to be good according to the genetic code, but it's communication. It all starts with talking. Every relationship that was ever consensual started with talking or communicating. I'm sure there's sign language relationships, but you know what I mean. And she's a reflection of my values. My values are, why would you talk to another man? Well, you don't need to for business. You know, if you're a friend with him, that he's going to be trying to get with you. It's leading him on. It's giving him green lights, which just gives me more problems in my life. So I can focus less on my purpose and success that I provide you with and more on just guarding you from the men that you're open to. Tell you what, if you're open to that, then you can go with that. And I will keep you in my life. Like I'm on a new overhauling mission of bringing in more friends into my life that are females because I need more perspectives. I like perspectives. That doesn't mean they're right. They're almost always wrong. But when I hear the story, I mean, all of the teachings that I've given you today, these come from conversations with women and from no fucks given. So when they say just be real, that's not really them. And whatever you're trying to be, you are already trying to be your realist. Don't forget that you're portraying yourself in a certain way. You are behaving in a certain way, and be real about that. Be real about the role that you're pushing out into the world. Be conscious and be real about your acting. And you would say, well, how can I trust you if I know you're acting? How can I trust you? You don't even know you're acting. You think you can't trust me because I say I'm acting? That's like the people that are like, don't listen to him. He teaches mind control. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm teaching you how to control your mind. You think I'm going to do something to your mind? Okay, I can understand that concern. Now, do you see the long list of people I've helped? Now you can see like I posted something, there's this hater, this girl that I taught acro to. She literally knew no acro. I began her on the journey of acro. She's very capable. I taught her for like 3 months. You know, she came to my retreats. She actually got into yoga. She wasn't even into yoga, but she was bendy or whatever. And she ended up getting in a relationship with one of my friends. This is 5 years ago. One time she comes over to my office, has a long, intimate conversation, no romance, never touched her except the acro, like, but no platonic. And because she was my friend's girl at the time. Now I wouldn't have even had her come over. So that was maybe misleading her. She came over to my office though. So it's a public space, like office mates. I don't know if they came in and out, but it was like my office. And everything was fine. Then 2-3 weeks later, I post some anti-feminist post, whatever it is. I did like 2 or 3 of these in my last year of university when I was finishing PhD. And like all 3 of them, just like 8 women, just like, and it hurt so much at the time, but the solace I gained was that behind the scenes, this is like I said earlier in the broadcast, behind the scenes, there's always 2 or 3 women messaging me thumbs up. Like, thank you for saying that. We wish that we had heard that sooner. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. This is what I like, blah, blah, blah. And then 1 or 2 of those gets closer to me, like in heart, because it's a love of ethics. We vibe together. If we both believe the same words, we vibe together. If we dissonate on the same words, then we don't vibe together. Okay. So that happened. Okay. So one of those times, one of those anti-feminist posts, this is 2 or 3 weeks after she hung out with me for a long time in the office, just us, and totally and she opened up about shit. And I was just like, okay, all right. You know, I lived through my own traumas with women and, you know, family member trauma, whatever. So nothing that I heard was like, I mean, compared to what I mean, and now with human trafficking, it's so minor with the human trafficking, but she flipped out about that post. She messaged the places where I was teaching. She got me fired, but I didn't know it was her until I heard some names dropped about, you know, from the guy finally told me something. And I was like, wait, what? And then the way that she keeps communicating 5 years ago, now 5 years later, she's still following me. And she makes this post about toxic masculinity. This guy, why are any of you still following him? Blah, blah, blah. And she does have some influence in the little town where she's from. But who cares? If any of those people are following me, they can judge for themselves. Some of those people that she's saying are liking my gender role posts. You know, so you as a man, you got to find your expression. You need to know that I mean, as a woman, you don't even know how compromised your social media is. Like, it is not your social media is not a reflection of you. You are a reflection of your social media. That's not me. My social media reflects me. I am not a reflection of my social media. You as a woman are a reflection of your social media following. You're pushed and pulled by that. And if you're pushing out and you're making an audience that's a reflection of you, you're unaware of because if you're unaware of the male-female nature, then you probably would not be okay with what the men are thinking when you post some of those things. And if you are okay with that, you need to look at that, because would you be okay with your daughter being okay with that? Would you be okay with your brother's daughter being okay with that? And if you are, then you need to look at that, because that is a particular kind of woman. We have a word for that kind of woman. And I'm not going to say it here because it's just obvious. Okay. So I have another 10 minutes or so. So I'll continue to try to get through these book 8 notes. Guys, you can go to ninthlim.com, check out the No Fucks book. You can get chapters individually. You can get the whole book. It's very transformative as you read it. It changes your mind. The word and the vibration of the words and the meanings of the sentences, these aphorisms, you know, these short like sayings or short teachings, you change. You develop inside a little bit different. Okay, so I'll skip this one. Well, why you? Well, no, I'm not going to go into that one. It's too mushy. Yeah, it's not hard to get a guy to fuck her. So she is so yin. It's not hard to get a guy to fuck her. It's special if the guy takes care of her. And taking care of her is on so many levels. Like I was saying, there's a business, friendship, and romance, at least. And then I would say there's spiritual. So you have business, there's an exchange. She is exchanging with all men her femininity, because it's the only reason they want her around. Very few men are looking up to the woman like, teach me this, teach me that, like, make me better. I want to be like you. Very few men are looking at women like, I want to be like you. Maybe there are elements of it, like, I like how my woman dresses, the colors, and it's like, I want to learn some of that aesthetic. Okay. But I'm not looking for her to improve me. I would do it even better than her if I just had the eyes to see. I'm colorblind, but whatever, So there's an exchange. Men are keeping her around, and men want to be around her, and men want her around because it's feminine and it gets them that much closer to the poo nanny. They literally get that much closer to the poo nanny, like geographically, like they're right next to you. They just want you to hang out because they're closer to it. In their mind, they're thinking, I am that much closer to getting lucky, right? No, we can't do live video right now, but come over to Zoom. The Zoom link is in the bio if you want to voice up something. That would be fun. Hard eyes, what did you like? Comment what you heart-eyed. It could be its own word. Okay, so she's exchanging. If she's working for another man, you as a man are not going to be very comfortable with that because she's submissive to him. She's not going to backtalk him because he holds the survival. She's going to come home with her complaints and backtalk you. So you get her negative attitude, he gets her best because he's paying her. So you want to be the owner of your woman's business, of your woman's employment. Friendship. One of my biggest mistakes in my 2 relationships ago was not being good enough friends when we got into a relationship. We had a lot of business exchange. It was very understood that I'm on a path, a purpose. You're on board with this. I know that you're going to be a doctor, but you're on board with this. Eventually, I'm going to take you out of being a doctor when I get this big enough. Business exchange was, and of course, she's feminine, so she can put feminine touch on things. She can communicate with people for me. She brings that, and she's part of my brand, so I can use her to help brand myself. So I'm using her for the business. Okay, business exchange. What does she get in return? She gets a future. There's business. Then there's romance, seduction. Okay, so attraction, comfort. You trust me. I can seduce you. You'll let me seduce you. Like we have a good dynamic, sexual dynamic. So there's romance. Okay, there's definitely an exchange there. And there's friendship. And friendship is a core that you can get back to when problems come up in the business and problems come up in the romance. But if you have a business and there's problems in the friendship, that's difficult to do business. And if you have a business and there's problems in the romance, then it's difficult to do business. And if you're in romance and there's problems in the business, so friendship becomes a core, right? You don't want her business exchanging with one guy, friendship exchanging with another guy, and you're her romance exchange. And then she has spiritual exchange with some other guy. Like, what? How many guys do you have? So you need to be the kind of man that the kind of woman you want looks up to you spiritually, but professionally, as a future creation, romantically, and of course, you have friendship. Okay? 2 relationships ago, my biggest mistake was not having the core friendship. So later when problems came up, we had to find friendship through the romance problems, through the business problems. And so we developed a friendship, but then that's how it broke. It broke because we became too good of friends that we could no longer hold back those lies. One of the lies was, I won't even tell you the lie, but life was not manifesting how I had originally said it was. The plans changed. I didn't take back my commitment to her. I just said, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be like this. And she was holding back the lie that she was actually not okay not being next to me while I have other relationships. She, you know, but there's a whole dynamic there because you don't understand. She had a kid, which is priority is her son. Okay. And then in the past relationship, this last one, it was no business or very little bit. It was weak on the business, good on the friendship, good on the romance. The business was the strain. She was working for another man and she wasn't done with that purpose. Not done with that purpose. I mean, it's going to tear. Spiritually, spiritually, that was there too. I mean, all of the elements could be strengthened and all of the, I'm not saying it was perfect, but there was friendship and romance but not enough business. So you as a man, you want to be in charge, electrically, in charge of her business in whatever way. She could be an independent woman, but you're her leader. You're her guide with that. You're her teacher, her coach. You help her manage her money. And it's part of, you are the patriarch of your family unit. Friendship, romance, and spiritual. These are the wheels you need to spin on her, and you need to get them all spinning at the same time. All right? And that's how you take care of her. So you're taking care of all of these elements and probably even more. Romance, fun would be part of romance and all of that, you know, business, friendship. As a woman, you'll do best, the best you'll do outside of IMC Nation, because I'm ninth limb, but these ideas come from my teacher whose brand is IMC Nation. The best you can do outside of IMC Nation is a rich guy who will lie and cheat on you. He's going to lie to you. Just go back to the beginning of this talk called Robbing Women. He's going to commit to you and then withdraw. Later said he overcommitted. And he's going to rob you of what you gave him. If it's not for some ethical reason, because this or that, he lied to you to get you to exchange with him. He's going to lie to you about being with other women. If he's with just you for 3 months, even 6 months max, he is already imagining other women when he's with you in bed. It's your friends. It's whatever woman is around. It's popping into his mind. He can't stop it. A man was not designed to be with only one woman. He was designed to seek as many women as will exchange with him. That he can physically do. I mean, at some level, I guess if you were a king and had 500 women, then maybe that king is saying men was designed for something else. We have Marcus Aurelius saying human is designed to be rational and social. I got it. But the animal also, the man is capable of mating so much more. And if he's capable of taking care of so many women, he will. And there are no women taking care of so many men. I mean, maybe like, you know, but she's not taking care of them. That's not the dynamic. And all the matriarchal societies crashed because they're weak. The woman was not designed to lead men. Okay? I don't have a problem with people challenging my personality. I have a problem with being bullied. So my recent Facebook post, I wish I could read you some of these comments. I don't want to go through them. But I handled them like a fucking champ. I crushed them. Every single one of them. And you'd say, like, were you proud of crushing women? Yeah, these are haters and bullies that are coming at me like I'm a little boy, vomiting, literally vomiting. It's so funny. This woman, she's a studio owner. She thought she could hurt me by saying, you're not welcome back in my studio. Like, whatever. I make so much more money than I would make at your studio. I did you a favor teaching your people, and I taught them like a motherfucker. Like, it was so good. I got so many testimonies from that. Oh man, they invited me back so many times. People were on my program, my subscription program from that place. That place loved me. The only people that don't like me are the people that don't like the beliefs about what I said. About, I want a woman that wants a real goddamn man that would want to take care of her. I want a woman that wants to be taken care of. And she knows that. And there's a lot of women on my Facebook that were not ashamed to admit that publicly. So there's even more that are silent. Okay? So you could challenge me, but if they're going to come at me, so she says whatever, she vomits, and then I say, you're just a hater, nobody asked you. She comes back with a bunch of bullshit, you're not welcome back. I come back and said, I would never come back, you're wasting your time. She comes back and says something wrong. This woman is married and has a kid, and it's like, at this point, it's too far. It's like, you are obviously, I say this, I'm like, whatever I say, I mean, I say it, the gist, this is the gist, is you must be so miserable in your relationship and or so miserable with your kids, she's 2 young kids, that you're wasting your time arguing with me on my Facebook post that didn't even ask you. So the implication is does your man know that you're using so much time on my Facebook replying to me after I said get lost already twice? No. So she says something more, again, doing the spiritual guilting and shaming, the spiritual snobism of you're not a good yogi kind of idea. Or no. Okay. So I said you're wasting your time because you must be miserable in your, that's what she says. She says some long thing about you must mean my inner man, my spiritual man. And then she describes all these masculine characteristics, including making a woman want to come many times, which actually in hindsight, I wish I had touched on that. Your inner man come. Wow. I wish I had hit that. Yeah. Yeah. No, looking back on it, I mean, always looking back on how you reply to haters. It's never perfect. You want like a different reply. What I did was pretty perfect. Now I'm thinking this is a yoga studio owner with kids. She's older than me. She's saying as a comment, something about making herself come many times with her hand. What the fuck? I need to go back to this comment. Anyway, I replied to that. I was like, no, not your inner man. I mean, your man in real life. And if you don't have a man in real life, then you're wasting your time on my social media because I'm not interested in you. She comes back with namaste. And I come back with the same emoji that she hit me with 3 times. She hits me with the emoji. I said, nobody asked you. She hits me with the emoji again. And I come back with whatever I came back with. She came back with that emoji again that says, wait for it, ... emoji. The emoji is the vomit face, the face of vomit. And I told her, quit vomiting. Go vomit on your own man. Don't vomit over here. 3 times. Then all the messages, her final message after I said, no, not your inner man. I mean, your man in real life. And if you don't have a man in real life, then get lost because I'm not interested in you. She replies to that, namaste. I reply to that, vomit face. What do you mean fucking namaste? After everything you just said, what are you namasteing? Like, get lost, stupid idiot. But I wish I had addressed that come part of her thing. I think I probably could have said something more creative that would have mind fucked her, because it should be a mind fuck. They have the wrong ideas. They have the wrong ideas that you can attack me on my social media for my expression. What are you thinking? I warned you. Now you're coming at me again. Get lost. I'm going to cut you up. And you're the one that's losing out. You think I'm losing out because I don't have your business. I don't need your business. You don't even know what it's like to live on simply. You don't know what it's like to be, what is that? Not reductionist. What's the word? When you live on very little, help me out here. Minimalist. You don't even know how to live minimally and be rich in your personality. You live minimally and you turn into like a monotone drone. I live minimally and I come to life, and you see the tiger in me, and I walk around and people look at me because I have a radiant energy, because I'm lean and I'm mean. And I'm mean to my enemies. And I'm mean to my women's enemies. And I'm mean to my family's enemies. And I don't think I owe them my niceness. And I think that belief has enslaved humanity. You're too good to the people that are bad to you, because you're sacrificing yourself. No matter what your belief system is, you're influenced by Judeo-Christianity. And really all the religions are sacrificing. They're all mind control. That's not the original belief of the founder. They're controlling you to sacrifice your goodness for other people to wound you, all for the sake of the people at the top. That's what it is. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So I have a problem with being bullied. So I attack their bullying. I don't have a problem with people challenging me. I got a problem with bullies. I was bullied as a kid, and I didn't have the words to stand up for myself. And then I developed the ability to fight physically, but then there were no more bullies because I was an adult. Then I realized that the bullying was all psychological, a lot of it by women. Go back to the early scene I did from the Book of Eli. When the guy shot him in the stomach, that's like what a woman does to you. And all you can do is just take out your knife and be like, anybody want some? And I tell you what, he still succeeded at his purpose in the end. I would watch that movie. He succeeds in the purpose. Every time I tell a girl that the other guy wants to fuck them, I'm not accusing. I'm confessing to her as a guy. Every guy that I'm telling you wants to get with you, if you're a girl and you're in communication with me, I'm not saying that they are bad, me good. I am saying this is a confession that the only reason I'm not really trying to get with you is because I'm telling you I'm trying to get with you. I'm like a lion, you're like a deer. And I'm telling you, hey, I'm going to hunt you now. Really? Yeah. And he's trying to look out for that one over there. And you look and you get away from that one. And you're like, Well, when are you going to go for me? No, I actually like it when the deer comes to me. Right? But I'll keep pointing out those other, because why? Because you're a really pretty deer. And I like how you talk to me. So I'll keep pointing out all the other pouncers, the leopard, the hyena, the jackal, the gross ones. And when you're ready, you come over here. We can dine together. Right? So what I needed as a man, growing up, a young man, a boy, was I needed a warrior man that would take out his sword anytime danger arrived. And that was my father. And my father would take out the gun and take out the knife, and he would take out the sword. And he would take out his aggression on anything that was threatening harm to me. And so I got that reference. Now, maybe he made mistakes also as a father and wasn't in complete control of his emotions. Like, we'd all idealize our fucking men to be like. We'd like that to be. But I always had protection when I needed it. But we also need the old wise man that could tell me a story so I could make sense of what's happening. And I didn't have that so much, but I did in my grandfather. It was very biblical, but that man is fucking wise. You know, he reminds me a lot of General Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis. And now with my teacher Arash, it's a lot of that old man wisdom. That's what it is. It's timeless stories. It's a lot of old stories and a lot of archetypal stories that shifts your understandings, because archetypes are subconscious. So you start influencing the subconscious. And that's where the genetic code, that's where the forces of attraction are coming from. And all you need to do is just become aware, because you don't need to be subjected to the forces of attraction, but you can steer them and your awareness will change them. You won't think the same way about whatever man or woman is of your fancy when you learn really their agenda. And your agenda should be to learn their agenda, as well as having your own agenda. Every time, okay, last one. You've been telling a story for so long that other people are telling the story for you. And that's going to be a big difficulty for a man as you ascend. Women, I don't really expect to ascend, but without a man. Women, a female ascension, that's going to be that's more difficult than a male ascension. It doesn't really happen outside of a man ascending her or elevating her. But men, as you ascend, you'll get a lot of haters. Women, as you ascend with your man, you'll get a lot of haters, because your story has been told by them, and you're making them into liars. They're so invested in you as you are. They feel like they're losing some of themselves because they've enmeshed with you. It's disgusting, really. They should be happy for you if you're really doing better. And they should try to understand why you think you're doing better. So men, you're going to get this when you bring her along with you, that all of the people around her are going to resist her coming with you, because they're telling a story of her that's not the story you want told of her. And it involves her belonging to everyone. We want to be able to give her hugs and hang out with her and blah, 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 blah. You got to go back through all the teachings, all the confessions. All these teachings are just confessions. These are confessions of the reality of men and women. Maybe I misspoke somewhere. Maybe I said some falsehood somewhere, but by and large, this is the science and the art of male-female dynamics. And what else are you doing on earth if you're not seeking good relationships? Everything that you want with your money, with your spirituality, with your friendships, with your romances, it's relationships, and relationships comes down to basically communication and mindset. You know, inner standings and understandings. And the inner standings are dug up in the relationship if you stick with it. But if you just jump relationships, there's some compounding that happens when you're with one person for a while. And as a man, you might be with multiple people, but you're with multiple people one at a time. If you want to try to do like fucking menage a trois and whatever, foursomes and things, you know, I haven't seen that succeed in the long term. It's fun, and there's a lot of guys that have been with a lot of girls, but you know, the plight is real for them too. So women have a bleak future after 40 or 42. Men have a bleak future at some age if they've been with a lot of women. But you know, what are you going to do? At what point are you going to try to create something with somebody? You know, Donald Trump got with Melania late in life, but he was after a series of committed relationships, and he was kind of a playboy. He got with a lot of girls, but he was very out in the open with it. You know, And maybe that's what it takes, is that level of achievement and all of those hardships and betrayals by women to finally, when you're 55 years old or whatever, meet the woman of your dreams. You know, I don't think I'm on that same path. I don't look to him for relationship guidance. Go to ninthlimb.com and check out the No Fucks Given book, the complete book. It'll blow your mind. And send me a message about that. If you're catching this wherever I'm streaming on YouTube or whatever, share it. Share it with people that you think would like it. And I will see you on the next streaming. Tomorrow is Sunday, so I have Science of Peace podcast is 9 a.m. Pacific time every Sunday. Namaste.